Hello music fans, especially Babymetal fans. Thank you for visiting my channel. My name is Caeser Pink.
Let your mama down. Let your mama down. Let your mama down. Baby, please.
Today I'm going to review a Babymetal concert. It took place at the theater in Madison Square Garden, June 24th, 2025. And I went with my wife and 10-year-old daughter, Susquehanna. Now, there were two opening acts. The first one was called Bloodywood. The name Bloodywood is a play on the term Bollywood, which is the Indian film industry. It says they formed in New Delhi in 2016. They began as a parody band that uploaded metal covers of pop songs on YouTube and only later began to write their own music. They have become India's first metal act to chart on Billboard. Along with the message in their lyrics, which I don't know their lyrics, so I can't comment on that, the band aims to support various social charity causes. With the release of the video for their song Javiri, they gave away prepaid online counseling sessions. In a 2023 interview, one of the members, Kerr, claimed that the band's goal was to channel their angst for the right causes and make people want to do something about them. To begin with, I'm not really a metal fan, so I'm not the greatest person to review them, but I will do my reaction and try to forego my prejudices as much as possible. Now, some interesting things about them were they occasionally had rhythmic shifts that were different than most metal bands. They had two vocalists, screamers, chanters, whatever you want to call them. They had a drummer, a live drummer. They had a bass player and a guitar player. But a lot of the music actually came from backing tracks. There were a lot of electronic rhythms and other things that came from backing tracks. But another interesting thing is they had a guy who played a dhol. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but it's an Indian-style drum that you hold over your shoulders and play with two sticks. But let's listen to a part of one of their songs.
Violence. We never advocate violence as a solution for any conflict. But when you are pushed to a corner and there's no option left, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
Sexual assault has no place in global society. Either they will hear our words or they will taste our boots. This is the other.
As you could hear in that clip, there were some good examples of the dynamic shifts they made in the music. It didn't have a lot of dynamics. It was pretty much at this level the whole time. I always think dynamics helps music be more interesting. If you're just at the top level the whole time, you just become numb to it and it doesn't really affect you. Now, an interesting thing, the two vocalists looked like and acted like and spoke like characters from an action hero movie. When they spoke, there was a lot of fucking, the word fucking used every sentence. I mean, I think the speech was cool in the beginning, saying they never advocate violence unless they're pushed into a corner. And then the song seemed to celebrate that violence that they use when pushed into a corner. It's like, to bring it back to action hero movies, as a friend of mine said after watching a Clint Eastwood movie, he said, and I quote, "He's a good man, but he just has to kill." And a lot of these action hero movies, the writers have to twist themselves up in knots to come up with a plot and a context which gives the hero a chance to go on a murderous rampage. They always try to find a way that his extreme violence is morally justified, and that gives the audience a chance to wallow in and enjoy the violence, yet still feel that it's heroic and morally correct. But they did a very short set, and they appeared on a song for Babymetal, so when Babymetal played that song, they came back up on stage. Now the next group was Black Veil Bride. They're based in Hollywood, California. The group formed in 2006 in Cincinnati, Ohio. Apparently, a Black Veil Bride is a Roman Catholic term used when a woman marries into the church and gives up all the pleasures of life to devote her life to God. It's an interesting thing. There was a time in the 80s where heavy metal groups were often accused of being devil worshippers or Satan worshippers or whatever. It always occurred to me that if somebody's a devil worshipper, Satan worshipper, that means their fundamental beliefs in reality are Christian based. So anybody who engages in that sort of anti-Christian thing believes in the Christian theology and reality at heart. And you see that also in horror movies, often the horror movie will be based on an occult idea that is structured by the Christian view of reality. But about the band, as far as I could hear, there were no backing tracks. It was a mix of traditional 80s metal and some 90s thrash metal, and with kind of a heavy touch of goth, a little bit of The Cure. Overall, it was more melodic than Bollywood. The singer often switched between melodic singing and the guttural devil wolf voice that you often hear in metal now. The guitar solos were all in a traditional 80s style, just kind of running up and down the neck without any slow or short notes to savor. Like Bollywood, the singer said fuck every other word. The last song of the night of their set had heavy use of 80s synths. It was kind of cheesy. But for both of these bands, the audience loved them. they definitely had their fans, and I've been to Babymetal concerts before, and the audiences were a lot more diverse. This show had much more of an metal crowd, and I think that was probably because of the inclusion of these two opening acts. But let's give them a listen. There was one thing funny about it. When he wasn't singing, when he was speaking between songs, the singer sounded like an FM radio host broadcasting from a used car lot or something. But let's give it a listen. But as I said, I'm not much of a metalhead, but the audience loved it. Now to the main act, Babymetal. Just a little bit of background. They're a Japanese group. They're credited with inventing a new genre of music called kawaii metal. Kawaii means cute. The band formed in Tokyo in 2010. The group is produced by Babymetal. Not only the performers, but everybody involved in them takes on the name metal in their last name or first name. And they're from the talent agency Muse Inc. Their band is known as the Kami Band. Kami, I think, means death or God. Maybe it means God. I'm not sure which. Because the band all call themselves like God of bass, God of guitar. But their music, I first became aware of them from their song Gimmie Chocolate. And when I first heard it, I was kind of confused and dumbfounded. I thought it was funny, and I kept going back to it and watching it. I must have watched it every morning for a couple months. It just made me start the day happy, and soon I began to think it was genius. I'm not a fan of J-pop or heavy metal, but put them together and I absolutely love it. So Babymetal concerts always start with a kind of historical video that tells the mythology of the background of Babymetal, where they became. They're kind of like superhero characters within this mythology. So let's watch the opening of the show.
Metal jungle. galaxy far, far away. After 15 years, together with the fellow metal heroes they met during their journey through the metal resistance, they will usher in a new era of heavy metal. Beyond heavy metal. The spirit of heavy metal, inherited from metal legends, has become metal force and begun a new journey. Metal forth. Whether this encounter was by coincidence or by fate, there's no way anyone would know. Only the Fox God knows. Are you ready to head down? Now is the time for the Metal Fourth with Babymetal.
Now, a Babymetal concert is kind of a magical experience. It's so fun. They have the most enthusiastic audiences that I've ever seen. And throughout the night, there are certain rituals that the band and the audience participate in. The opening song, which we heard a bit of, is called Babymetal Death. Now, when they used to perform this in Japan, I don't think they ever did this in the United States, but during the song, which is mostly instrumental, except the occasional chant of Babymetal Death, but during the song, they would carry a big cross onto the stage, and they would crucify the lead singer onto the cross, and I think she would also have a neck brace on, which was kind of their little joke about headbanging. But I'm guessing they took that out when they play in America because it might be too controversial. But let's listen to a little bit more of Babymetal Death. Now, when they come on stage, it seems like maybe seeing cartoon characters come to life, or superheroes. They always wear these amazing costumes. Now, the next song is, I think it's called Megisune. It starts off, it reminds me of that first scene in Hunger Games where there's the eerie woman's voice and the sort of big puppet that turns around. But I find it a very moving song. It's about girls growing into women, and when Babymetal started, they were just 13 to 15 years old. But they start off saying something about being female foxes, and they often have fox masks in their hands. But then it becomes about how girls are becoming the ideal women. Girls are becoming the ideal women, and how they present themselves one way on the outside, but their fears and their sadness are hidden within. Here are some of the lyrics. Ancient maidens, you danced in a transient dream, getting over 1,000 years, you live today. It's all right. Always women are actresses. We're not foxes, not deceiving, but maiden-like female foxes. But let's listen to the song a little. Again, there you can see how much audience participation there is. The singers are Sumetal on lead vocals, Metal on backing vocals, and Metal on backing vocals. Metal replaced Yuimetal, the original in the group. She's much beloved by the fans. I heard one call her the cutest human being that ever existed, but it's hard to find out what happened to her, but apparently she had health problems. I've read that she collapsed on stage, and when she had to drop out of the tour, they waited for her, went on as two for a while. But with just two of them, some of the magic seemed to be gone. There's, three's a magic number, and it's, it has a visual impact when you see it. And eventually, when she wasn't able to come back, they replaced her. And Momo Metal is great too. Now the next song is PaPaYa. There's a guest on that, and since he's not there, they feature him in the video. I think he was a rapper from, I'm not sure whether he is from an Asian country or an Eastern European country, but you'll see another one of the rituals. The guest did this in the original music video where he has a small towel that he swings around. You'll see Sumetal doing that and many people in the audience doing that. And it's a cool, fun song, PaPaYa. The next song that I got a piece of is Metali. And the first half of this video features solos of the band. And I think it's great. They're a great band, incredible musicians, and they each take a solo in here. When the song comes in, it has an Indian style. Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine played on the original track and in the original music video for him. And like the previous song, although we didn't see the original guest on the video, he was there in a later part of the song. And then in this one you see Tom Morello as well, and at one point he's playing guitar and the three singers are sitting on the neck of the guitar as he plays. I think this video may be in two parts, but let's start it out. Stamina to be and the part 2 of the video. Now, there was a section where you could hear an older woman's voice speaking in the original track and in the music video that's in there, and at the live concert it was on a backing track. But I really like that Momo Metal does, I'm not sure whether it's an Indian style dance or a Japanese style dance there, but it's a really nice section. And I didn't catch it on video, but Sumetal gets everybody to hop up and down. As you can see, it's a very energetic crowd. Now, later in the show, they have a second video which talks about their mythology. And this video talks about a story that is in this this book. Being a Babymetal fan, I got myself a copy. But let's watch a section of that video.
Friendly journey to Mount Fuji to see the rising sun. However, they find themselves in trouble. The weather in the mountains is changeable. They are caught in a storm and seem to have gotten lost. They were shivering from the cold and feeling dizzy. To make matters worse, a ferocious-looking bear suddenly appeared in front of them. Each knee sign. Each knee sign. The three sisters chant the magic number 3 for help. At that moment, a miracle happened. When they chanted the number 3, thunder rumbled from the sky, scaring away the ferocious bear and getting them out of trouble.
You can hear the audience knows all the cues. They can chant along with things. It's very fun. Now, for the end of their set before the encore, they did Gimmie Chocolate, which is their biggest hit, at least in the Western world. And it's really the song that broke them worldwide. People just couldn't believe the video. It was so different than anything seen before. And a little more background about Babymetal. They were in the public eye before they were in Babymetal. They were part of, they call it the idol stars. And that's very kind of corporately controlled pop stars. And they were in this group, I forget what it was called, but I think it had like 20 or 25 members in it, all young girls. And it was based around a school theme. So the grade school age ones, they would have their own musical collaborations. And then when they were too old for not grade school, middle school, they would graduate to high school and then be in different groups. And within that, the musical groups were based around what could be after-school clubs or groups. So there could be a science club group, a tennis club group, and Babymetal came out of something called the heavy music group. And what happened, my understanding is that there was a guy who worked for this company, and his passion was heavy metal, and on the weekends he would play heavy metal in the local club. So he had the idea of having a heavy metal group backing up some J-pop stars. They chose Sumetal because she had the strongest vocals, and that experiment led to Babymetal, who eventually aged out and became, left that business situation and went out on their own and became worldwide stars. But let's watch a bit of Gimmie Chocolate. So when they made the original music video for this, excuse me, the two younger girls were 14 and I think Sumetal was 16. So they really looked like babies. It was very cute and very mind-blowing. So when they came out for the encore, they did 3 songs. One of them is an old song, Karate, which I hadn't heard them perform before. Let's listen to a bit of that. This one has some nice, strong guitar riffs, very melodic. The music video for this was really fun. They were using some kind of magic to fight some demons or something. And here's a favorite part of my show where Sue gets everyone to hold up their cameras while she's singing a melody line. Now, they usually end their shows with a song called Road of Resistance. It's very, very theatrical and very ritual-like. For that song, I moved to the middle and the rear of the pit. I think this video really captures a lot of the joy and happiness in the Babymetal presentation. It's quite moving to me. Now, another thing about this song, Sue will come out and part the audience for what metal people call a wall of death, where all the people in the pit rush to each other and then create a mosh pit, or in this case, they just became a circle, people running in a circle. Now, back in the day, mosh pits could be very dangerous and violent things. I was standing just behind it, and I'd crawled up onto a cement level a couple feet up, so I was right by it. And what I kept thinking, this is the most gentlemanly mosh pit I've ever seen. Even though it was very raucous and energetic, I didn't really see any violence, and people seemed to be respecting each other. It was really funny and nice both. But I think I captured the whole song of this, so it's their final song of the night, and it's almost 9 minutes long, but I hope you enjoy it. Songs have these moody, ambient introductions, after which the lights will come up and the girls will appear on stage. Now, before we go forward, I'm going to go back. Now, you might not have caught it, but I caught Metal in sort of a silly moment when she thought she was in the dark. You can see she's back there to the right side. She must be talking to Momo or somebody, and she's kind of laughing and moves her arms up and down in a funny way. Let me back it up just a little, and I'll try to highlight that. So she's parting the crowd. might have accidentally put my fingers over the microphone on the camera because the sound gets muffled for a few moments. I think this song has a great structure. It keeps going through different sections and really building up from darker moments to more major key feel-good moments. If you can't tell, they're supposed to be riding on a horseback in that section. I love this section where the girls are kind of walking around and smiling and being silly. I think a lot of Babymetal fans feel like they've grown up with them, so although they're women in their late 20s now, we still remember them as cute little children. So that stuff, seeing them play around and smile, makes me feel very happy inside. song has such a great complex structure, so many different melodies. It's almost like a piece of prog rock, but the structures all go to building different emotions. Now before we stop, we'll watch the what they have to say to the audience. Now when they first came to America as children, they couldn't speak English at all, so it's fun to hear Sue speaking pretty good English.
Wow, it's an amazing night! We're so happy to have Rockville Glass and Bloodywood on tour with us. Thank you, New York!
They always end the show by saying "see you." But anyways, it was such a fun night, such a great show. Please, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you have any other music you think I should check out, put that in the comments. Please like and subscribe or support Arete Living Arts if you can, and hope to see you soon.